Hello again, Mathemateurs. It's Dr. Tapper, and today's topic is adding and subtracting using an open number line. Let's start by looking at adding on the open number line. For example, suppose you wanted to add the numbers 12 plus 16. So we're going to look at how you would do that using an open number line. To start with, we call it an open number line because on the regular number line, we start with 0 and go on into infinity, sometimes in both directions and sometimes even in two dimensions on the x and the y axis. An open number line is a tool. It's a model, a representational model if we're going to be really accurate about it. And it helps us, gives us something to think about when we're adding. So we could start with either number using the open number line, but it's generally a good idea to start with the larger of the two numbers. That way, if we're doing any counting by ones, we have less to count. So there's 16. Again, we could have started with 12 because addition is commutative, so it doesn't matter which one we start with. 12 plus 16 is the same as 16 plus 12. We're going to start with 16, and we're going to add on to it. When thinking about adding on the open number line, we think about these movements as jumps. That's why we took a look at first at the frog on that very first page. Now I could jump 12 all together, but it's much easier to jump by 10 and something else or by some number in the tens and something else. So I've decided to take the first jump by adding 10, and that puts me at 26. And then a smaller jump puts me at 28. This is adding on the open number line. I decompose the number 12 into 10 and 2, and then I made the appropriate jumps. Now you give it a try. Here's the number 26 plus 17. There's our open number line. I'm going to pause the video and see if you can figure out what this is. So the way I would have done it is to separate the 17 into 10 plus 7, make my first jump a 10 jump, make my second jump a 7 jump. So 26 and 10 more would give me 36, and 7 more would give me 43. Hopefully you did something along those lines. You're probably thinking, oh sure, when I add little numbers that are in the teens, it's easy. But what about when I have really monster numbers? Well, using an open number line for addition is really good with monster numbers. Let's take 46 plus 39. I start with my 46 down on the lower end, and I'm going to add 39 to it. Now I could break my 39 into lots of different ways. This also helps us with our mental math. I could think of 39 as 3 10 jumps and 1 9 jump. I could think of 39 as a 30 jump and a 9 jump. If you're very clever, and you are, you could also think of 39 as 4 10 jumps with a jump back in the other direction. Let's think about the simplest case. So I make my first 10 jump and I get to 56. I make my second one and get to 66. I make my third one and get to 76. Now if I jump 10, I would get to 86, but I'm only jumping 9, so I know I'm going to end up at 85. Adding on the open number line is very useful, but subtracting on the open number line can be an essential way for students to understand how subtraction really works. We're going to talk eventually about trading and borrowing, but there is no trading and borrowing on the open number line. It's just moving from one place to another. Let's start with a simple equation, 61 minus 28. Now there are several different ways one can model this using an open number line. We could start on the 61 and jump 28 back. This works, and it makes sense to us in some ways because we think of subtraction as taking away. But actually, this is not the model for using the open number line for subtraction that is very helpful to students, especially those who struggle. Instead, we're going to think about 61 minus 28 as being the difference between 61 and 28. So 61 is where we're going to end up, and 28 is how far we've gotten so far. So this is very helpful because while I could think of 61 as subtraction, I could also get the same answer by adding up from 28, and learners have a much easier time adding than they do subtracting. I'm going to start my jumping on the open number line by taking a little jump that gets me to a really easy number, the number 30. Next, I'm going to take a really easy jump, which is a plus 10 jump, and I'm going to get myself to 40. Now, so far, I've managed to go from 28 with 2 more, then 10 more. So altogether here, I've used 12. Finally, I'm going to jump from 40 to 61 because it looks like an easy jump, and do it at 21. I could, of course, jump to 60. I could jump to 50 and then to 60. But in the end, I want to end up at 61. Then I add up all my jumps and figure out what my final answer might be. Okay, so here's some opportunities for you to try doing this for yourself. I'm putting the equation up there. What I would suggest is that you press pause on the video, do it yourself, and then take a look at what I've done. Remember, there are many ways to jump from one number to another. We start with the lower number on the left side of the number line and jump to the higher number on the right. And as long as we add up to the same amount of jumps, the answer is correct. So press pause and see if you can do this on your own. For this, I jumped 3 to get to a quick and easy number, 170. Then I jumped 30 more to get to 200, and then another 100 to get to 300. Again, there are many ways you could have done this, but in the end, all of the jumps needed to total up to 133. Okay, here's one more chance for you to try one. 500 minus 368. Draw your open number line, set it up, make your jumps. Press pause, of course, before you do that so you don't see the answer before you get started. That's what the solution looks like. Pretty similar to the other one, actually, even though I was choosing the numbers kind of randomly. So did you remember to set up the open number line with the lowest number at the bottom and the highest number at the top? Whatever jumps you took in the middle should be added up, and you should come up with a total of 132. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed and learned from this quick video on how to add and subtract using the open number line. It's a revelation to most folks that learn to do this, and it will really help your mental math. This information will be on our quiz coming up, so get lots of practice and make sure you can do it well.